Right, it's everything that we expected, right? He was a leader on the field. He was vocal as hell 24/7, and he's a playmaker, right? And no matter what call was made, he always found himself in that position to make plays, man. So it was very, very excited to see him. Actually, I talked to him after the game. He was ecstatic, but I can remember talking to him a couple weeks ago, and he was banged up and injured, and right, like people telling him he wasn't good enough, and you know how the social media world is, right? He's a top 5 draft pick, and he's a bust, and this and that, and all of a sudden he gets healthy, man, and he puts on a show, right? And they're playing him all over the field. Obviously, he was at nickel. He's able to do some really cool things, man. But it's always exciting to see that for a player that was obviously formerly here, now have the success that he's had. It's no surprise to us over here. So.
How do you evaluate this past Saturday, given that there were some times you have short fields?
Yeah. I mean, it's the thing about football's the ultimate team sport, right? Like, and it's our job from a defensive standpoint to whatever situation we're put in to get off the field. I think about this season as a whole, right? We've had 27 scoring drives, right? And half of those scoring drives have resulted in a 10+ yard penalty or more. And so 13 of them resulted in a 10+ yard penalty or more, and 9 of those were touchdowns. All right, 4 were field goals, right? Like we're one of the most penalized teams in the country. That's typically not a good sign for good defense, right? Like if we eliminate the penalties, right, we eliminate the mental errors, we got a chance. And so that's what we're constantly trying to show the guys. First half, obviously, we were there, right? Second half, right? A play here, a play there, short field, not a short field, right? Guy jump off sides, guy get a PI that extends the drive, and all of a sudden you go from close game to 4 touchdowns. It was literally like 5 plays, literally. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I know we got some younger dudes on the back end, but it's constantly a learning process for us, right? Because I'm trying to show these dudes, and we're trying to show these dudes. It's all it takes is one play to literally alter the game. Right, on one of the plays, it happened to be Xavier, right, on that routine call for us, right. He owned it, screwed up, right. We got to be better in those moments, right. But it's a play here for him. It was him. For somebody else, it's the next play, and so we got to just make sure we eliminate that, right. We got to give ourselves a chance by just playing clean football. We missed 18 tackles on Saturday, 18. All right, I think the last time we missed 18 tackles was 2 years ago. That's a lot of tackles, right? I keep saying this. Anytime you get in double-digit missed tackles, right, you ain't winning no games, right? We missed quite a bit of tackles. Obviously, that's been a point of emphasis for us defensively year-round, right? And so, like, why did you miss that tackle? What position were you in? Was there enough guys running to the football? So just making sure we're constantly cleaning those little things up, right? Because they're playing hard. They're playing hard, but some of those playing hards results you in a penalty, right? Got to clean up some technique things just from the ball being thrown down the field, right? Guys trying to make sure guys look back to make sure they're playing the football, right? Asking the refs, like, what can we do better? So it's obviously, for some of those guys on the back end, it's obviously still a learning process, but we got to get through that, and we got to continue to coach them through it. And I think showing them the film is going to allow them to do that. But it was obviously from the guy that's calling it standpoint, yeah, it's always tough, right? It's always tough, but I keep telling that we're so close, man. We're so close. All right, yeah, we've lost 3 games. All right, the season ain't over. It's still a long season. All right, we can win the rest of them if we just execute and do what we're supposed to do. No matter if it's a short field, a long field, whatever opportunity we get, right, trying to make sure we capitalize on that, and we got a great opportunity here this Friday.
What jumps out at you? Third downs that is consistent throughout the year, or is it something different? What do you see?
No, I think the biggest thing is not getting them in third and short situations, right? And so that means you got to play great early down defense. Right, and so great early down defense is not letting them get 3 or more on first down, right? Make it a 2nd and long, right? 2nd and 7+, right, down in distance. And so I think at the end of the day, the way you get to third down or a manageable third down is you got to be great on early downs. And at times, early in the first half, we were good on early downs, right? We got them a couple of 3rd and 9s, 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 6s, right? And as the game went on, as penalties occur, as missed tackles occur, right? We're at 3rd and 1s, 3rd and 2s. You playing a lot of 3rd and 1s, 3rd and 2s. That's probably not going to be a good sign as the game progresses if you're playing it, especially in the latter part of the game. And so obviously on those down and distances, right, the goal is to get off the field. But if you give them a third and short, right, they can make it a manageable 4th and 1 and treat it like an opportunity to go for it on 4th and 1. So it's just being really, really good, create negative plays on early downs that'll get them backed up, just like we did in the first half, right? I think they were 3rd and 9 a couple times, 3rd and 7. Right, I know on one of them, Sabor ended up falling in the secondary, but we got to get them to those manageable 3rd downs to where we can get off the field.
What jumps out at you about the Nebraska offense?
They are very, very different than any other offenses that we've seen so far. It ain't no bones about it. Their goal is to run the ball, and they gonna let you know they running the ball, which is an attribute to their coaching staff, right? They want to be physical, they want to pound it, right, and at the end of the day, take shots downfield sporadically. But they got playmakers on the outside, and they do utilize them. But they're going to establish. They playing old school Nebraska football, right? They want to establish that they can run the ball, right, and let you know that they run it, and they dare you to stop it. And so they got 2 obviously really good quarterbacks. They've been utilizing both of them. They got a really good running back in Grant, right? They got some phenomenal tight ends who are strong at the point of attack, right? Billy Kemp on the outside. Number one, I mean, they got good players, man, right? Like 2 and 3 football teams obviously can go either way because both of them have really, really good players on both sides. For us, it boils down to execution.
Aaron, how do you get more consistent pass rush from your outside backers?
Yeah, man, that's been a point of emphasis, right, daily. And I think for us, man, like those guys they're playing a lot of snaps, right? So we got to have guys. We got to continue to grow guys behind them to get those guys. I mean, we played 77 snaps on Saturday, and so to ask a pass rusher on play 55, right, and we're had a couple of 7, 8, 9, 10 play drives, right, to be as strong as he can as the game goes. The guys behind him, right, have to be good for us on early downs so those guys can be elite pass rushers on 3rd downs, right? They're playing a lot of plays, man. Anytime you're banging down there in the trenches, right, like it's hard. It's really, really hard. They're playing very, very, very physical. And I do think getting some other personnel groupings on the field, some fresher guys, right? Obviously, Gabe and Seth are primary guys for us. Don't want to take them off the field, but I think at the end of the day, we got to be able to get fresh bodies out there so those guys can be ready to rock and roll, man. Johnny and Keith, for the most part, they play a lot, man, and so we try to make sure we do a good job by rolling them. But it's when you're 270, right, 265, and you're banging in the paint, like those guys, they get tired. They get tired. So making sure we're establishing depth behind them, that's probably going to be a key thing for us, right? We had, just in terms of our depth, right, we got some young guys behind them. We got to continue to bring them along and make sure that they're comfortable and we're comfortable with putting them out there, man. And so I think at the end of the day, it's like a fine line between trying to make sure, okay, we don't want to take Gabe off the field, but we also don't want Gabe to be tired because he's not a good player at all when he's really, really tired. And so, again, that boils down to getting off the field on 3rd downs. Right, if you get off the field on 3rd downs, you play less plays, you get the ball back to the offense a lot sooner. And the way you play good on 3rd downs, you got to be good on early downs, right? To make 3rd downs a lot longer. So it's an ongoing battle for us just to continue to groom the guys that are behind them. Haven't played much football, you know, and so it's still a working process behind those guys. You just got to continue to bring them along and coach them up as hard as you can.
In the last 2 games with your inside backers, we've seen more Kanena than more James Cruz, certainly. So just what kind of went into maybe their increase in snaps?
I think part of it was okay, because we're playing with Keith and we're playing with Johnny and we're playing with Seth and we're playing with Gabe so much. How can we get some of these younger guys involved a lot more? And they're going to be fresh, right? So if that's a sub package, all right, let's get them in on a sub package because they're coming in. Kanena's probably played a little more snaps, but Cruz hadn't played that many snaps. So he can come in on 3rd down. He can be a pass rusher as he showed that, right? And so I think the mindset behind it is just trying to get fresh guys on the field on 3rd down so that they can run around and they can be a little fresher for those guys in the early down situations. So obviously early in the game, you can keep the regular guys out there, but as the game kind of progresses and you get later in the game and you got an interior guy that has 60, 70 snaps, right, you got to find other ways to get younger guys involved who are pretty good pass rushers because I think we got some pretty good ones. We just got to get them out there, in those latter parts of the game when guys are tired.
Are the freshmen, Kareem and Toby, are they to the point where they can play multiple positions? Are they an option at safety if you want to go that direction?
I don't think they're to the point where they can play multiple positions, because if they could, they would. And I would definitely put them out there. But no, man, it's for both those guys, they obviously freshmen. It's a lot. And so we're trying to keep them in one spot so that they learn their position. And they can master it, him and Toby on the outside, right? Sabor's in our third down package, just trying to condense it for him so that he can be comfortable and just fly around, man. If I think that's probably a spring thing, right? As they get a little more ball under their belt, right? And we get into spring ball, I do think they'll be more than capable of learning multiple positions.
What's the balance?